What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Town Hall episode number 37. This is our impromptu Halloween episode here, and we are joined by our...
Whoa. Did you say impromptu?
Impromptu.
Because you could have had a great pun there.
I was hoping you was going to make a pun!
You could have had a great pun.
Can you screen share with us? I don't like this.
You can't
I
see
don't
it?
like this.
You can't
No.
see anything? Okay, I'll screen share. Anyways, guys, this is, in fact, episode number 37. We're looking at the wrong scene here because my hotkeys are broken.
Oh, internet just went poop.
Yeah, Jake just went like...
I went robot? Am I okay?
Yeah.
Nope.
You can turn off screen share if it's going to break your computer that bad, Jake.
Oh my god.
All right.
Wrecked.
Well, okay, we're good? Can you hear me?
Is your computer on fire? I don't know.
I'm going to turn it off. Anyways, guys, welcome here to episode number 37. This is, in fact, our Halloween episode, I suppose. Last minute just kind of happened. Cooby turned the lights off, put out a candle. It had a lot of props. So, guys, the normal list of hosts are here today. And, Corey, you're back from Japan. Welcome back to Town Hall.
Indeed. I do have one gripe. I happened to be going through the archives of the old, the 2 episodes that I missed. And there was this conversation that came up that was something along the lines of last but not least. And then Jared was like, whoa, who's
Jake.
last? And then they were just like, well, Corey's not here, so why don't we just throw him under the
Jake
bus?
said that. Jake threw
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, Jake did. It was Jake, you're right. And then he's like, well, he's not going to watch it anyway, so if he does, for some reason, you can call me out. So I'm calling you out, Jake. What's the deal?
Boom.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Nothing. Godlike. Well played.
Hey, you gotta hold that. Let's go.
Best moment of Japan. Go.
Food? Can I just, categorize all of the food into one moment that I ate all of it? It was amazing.
Yes.
That works.
Yeah, because it was awesome. If you like fish and anything fish related, obviously, it's very, very good. But I would say that the pancake, they make this thing called okonomiyaki. It's like a pancake with shrimp, noodles, and pork. Oh, amazing. So good. Yeah, that's it. Of course, I have lots of stories. They'll come out eventually. But...
Yeah, well, we will get to those stories eventually. But Kevin, you were in Columbus. You are back home now.
Yeah. I had a really long weekend. I was yelling a lot, so my voice might be a little bit hoarse. But
I missed you.
no, yeah, I had a really long week. I didn't really get to play that much, so I'm back. I played a little bit before today. Played quite a bit last night with Stormy and them. So I'm just excited to be back. And then freaking news came out yesterday.
Yep.
Apparently, I'm going to be hosting co-hosting the BlizzCon tournament for Heroes of the Storm with Anna Prosser.
Congrats, man.
Yes, congratulations.
Massive
Big
news.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Probably your biggest esports accomplishment by a long shot.
I think so. I mean, I had WCS back in the old days, WCS Premier, when I subbed in for Axel Toss with MLG, which was pretty big, but I think this is going to be probably way bigger. So it's a lot of pressure, because it's a lot of people that are going to be watching, but I hope I don't disappoint, and yeah.
You better not, or you're off the show.
Well, if you're as well-spoken as you're on this show, you're screwed.
Yeah, I know, right? I was just thinking about that. I was like, crap, I've been eyeing and hmming a whole bunch.
Well,
Like I got my hoof stuck in my mouth or something. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm gonna hit you. I'm
goodness.
like,
that was a stretch.
you realize that when we're doing a live show at BlizzCon, that we're all going to be able to hit you. You can't keep doing these.
Just no horse puns, please. Jared, what's up with you, man?
Dude, Cowboys, man, that had the closest game with the Redskins in a long time. We lost just barely. But other than that, man, it's been lots and lots of heroes. I think I'm over almost to 400 games since the alpha came back. I've just been playing so much and a lot of casting this weekend.
Yeah, we did.
Had to delay the Cloud9 versus SMG show match cast. It's already been played, so Don't spoil it, Zuna. But it'll be cast this Thursday. Kev can't make it. It's going to be me and ZP doing it on this channel. But other than that, man, it's just been a lot of heroes and a lot of casting. Been super busy this weekend. With you, actually, Jake.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Zuna, our special guest this week, you are now playing for Cloud9 and Heroes of the Storm. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about your history in competitive gaming, the horse face.
Hi, I'm this is Chris Zuna Buster. I played in LCS for about a year and a half for 3 splits, and since I got what is the word I'm looking for when you get kicked out? Like relegated. There we go. Since I got relegated, I wasn't having too much fun playing League at the time, and some of my friends from League started playing HOTS, and then they gave me a account to play, and then I just started playing HOTS ever since.
So,
and then that's where I've ended up now.
Yeah, first question is, who's your favorite hero?
I think Tassadar, just because he's super broken.
That's a safe answer.
Like, very honest.
I'm surprised it wasn't Falstad, but
I think with Blizzard, they make heroes fun because they're either one, they're just really overpowered, so like it's really hard to lose, or they're not really strong, but they're really fun. Like lots of mechanics that make like no sense and they're not rewarding at all, but it's really fun.
Like Illidan or what?
Illidan, yeah, exactly. Murky, like
Murky. Okay.
Like you can outplay someone on Murky. It doesn't mean anything. Like
yeah,
this is true.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Jared, do you have a question? You can go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, let's just talk about Cloud9 and Heroes. How was the whole team perform? Like, were you approached by Cloud9? Were you guys already a team playing together? I mean, how did it all come together in the start?
For me, I'm pretty sure they already had like a group of 5, and then they asked me to play because we're pretty much all from LoL. So I've been playing with like a couple of them, you know, on and off because we're all part of the same scene. And then eventually in Heroes, they were pretty much needed a 5th, and then they just asked me, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, I've been playing HOTS for a while, so I'm down. And then I think with our team, like our first scrim was like a week or 2 ago, like as a team, so like we don't really have as much time played as other teams, and it's like pretty much we're going mostly on mechanics, and we are lacking really hard in game knowledge. So like we'll go for kills over objectives a lot of time, but we're definitely improving on it, and like the biggest problem is just being able to adapt to how Heroes is played compared to League.
Okay.
In terms of pacing and getting used to not really having, I guess, like a lane phase, or at least the length of the lane phase is significantly shorter. Like, what's your impression on that? Does it feel like you're missing something? Does it feel right because you're immediately in the action? Like, what's your overall opinion on that?
I think it's just something like new, unique type, but I don't think it's bad at all because in League, like, I could say the worst feeling you could ever have playing League is, like, let's say you solo top and you get to the lane a little late, and now that this guy has hit, like, a level up on you, he can abuse you, like, so hard because you missed, like, 3 creeps in lane, and now you're just, like, you feel useless. You never really get that feeling in HOTS, and I think that's, like, the biggest thing. Like, even if you show up to lane or you get, like, a little lower on level, it's not, like, you just never have that useless factor compared to someone that's like 5-0 and can kill you anytime they want.
Okay.
One really good question that kind of came out from Reddit that we posted up, and if you guys actually have questions, Zuna's going to be with us for a bit, so go to the Reddit thread and post your questions. But one question we got from one bright day in the night asks,
Great name.
Is the answer how does solo queue compare for League of Legends versus Heroes of the Storm? Like, you kind of went over top a little bit, but you know that doesn't really play just into solo queue. Like, how do you feel about the differences between the two of them? Do you have a lot of experience in both?
Yeah, I would say in HOTS right now, solo queue is like, if you're queuing up solo, you're not gonna win. Like, you can win majority of games, but you're not gonna win much. And the biggest reason why is because the way the ELO system works now is like, if you're pretty high ELO, you're pretty much going to wait for 6 minutes and then it's going to pop. And once you hit that mark, it's like you queue up with anyone, and you always go usually against like 3, 4, 5 man orgs. And if you're ever doing that and you have a group of like 5 randoms, it's really hard to win.
Yeah.
I think once like when a rank actually comes out and they limit so you can only like single or duo queue, and there's actual like a real YOLO system, I definitely think it'll help a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the player pool is very small at this point, and eventually we assume that we'll have ladders, like ranks in leagues and whatnot. But do you just feel like in the actual game itself, when it comes to like having to deal with objectives and having to deal with, since it's such an objective-based game, do you think that is a reason why solo queue is harder?
I wouldn't say solo queue's harder. It's more just like the way. For me, it just feels like you can't compare league rank to solo queue. You'd have to compare it to normal games, and then normal games is just like pretty much the luck of the draw. So if you get like people on your team that you know are good, and you're versing like just not an actual full org, then you're always gonna have a good shot at winning. And then it just comes down to like each person, how they play, and like what heroes you have. Because right now there's such a small like champion pool, so if you like you don't get to pick your team before the game starts, it just goes in, so your team could like not have a healer or not have a tank, and like I think that's the biggest factors in making it really hard.
Absolutely. Talking a little bit more about Cloud9, is this just a thing that you guys are doing for BlizzCon, or are you guys sticking around after BlizzCon as a team? What's going on with that?
I'm pretty sure we're trying to stick around after BlizzCon, but for now I just got picked up for BlizzCon, like they just told me about it, but I'm pretty sure they were a team before that.
Okay. How's practice going overall? I mean, like you said, you did your first scrim like a week ago or 2 ago. I mean, is the team molding well together?
Yeah, we've been definitely improving a lot. I'd say like out of the games we get a lot more than other people since they've already been playing for so long. So like each game we scrim, we get a lot out of it. But the biggest thing is like we have lots of handicaps right now, like school and people in Korea and stuff. So it's hard to get games, but we're doing pretty well with what we have so far.
In terms of drafting, I mean, just the experience from League, is drafting pretty like, you know, easy to understand, or is it still like a bit of a process to learn?
The process for drafting is more map dependent than anything, I think, right now. So it's more learning about which maps like certain heroes are really strong, and then you have heroes like Tassadar, it doesn't matter what map. So that's just how the draft mode is.
What are some of the draft picks that you've been looking for lately, like pairings or triplets that you try to get in your team?
I think for us, mostly we just we have like a priority pick list, and then we try and get those heroes, and then once we actually do, we just try and make a team comp around it, and we try and predict like what they're gonna pick once we pick those.
Okay.
Does that change drastically per map? Because you were saying before that maps, of course, will influence.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely on the maps. Like Curse Hollow, like Global is a lot stronger, Avatar is a lot stronger, and then you go to like Mines, where Global and Avatar is not nearly as strong.
In League of Legends, the map is much bigger, and you don't have the mounts, which increase your move speed by a lot, making split pushing much easier to do, and it becomes a valid thing in strategy. And right now, we're having discussion a lot about split pushing in heroes with the new hero Asmodan, and with the buffs to Abathur and Zagar becoming much stronger. Do you like the state of split pushing in this game? Do you think it's bad from your experience from League? Do you think it's something you want to see in this game?
I think in certain maps, like for the Tribute map, I really wish that on Tribute, if you didn't get tapped, you would get off of it. Like, I wish it was like they actually had to do a knockback or something, so that way they can't just like keep poking and like being annoying while like an Abathur has promoted minions and like Locust pushing. So you're just like, well, we're fighting for a Tribute, but it's either we have to give it to them or try and take it, but we're gonna lose like a fort. I really hope they like either nerf promote to the point where it's not like so much HP on a mob and like fort does more damage, or like they don't lose tower shots if they're hitting a promote minion, something like that. Because once it gets to the point where it's just you have Abathur and you have no global to like defend against it, you're just trying to pick up the Tribute, and eventually you'll get it, but usually you'll lose a fort or lose all your ammo while trying to do it.
It's a really good point. I mean, promote, it's a pretty recent change. It was an upgrade recently, if I'm not mistaken, or was it just become more prevalent because of heroes like Asmodan and
it's become more present. I don't think it's been buffed recently.
Yeah. I think you're right, actually. But we are definitely seeing a lot of that abuse with promote lately, and it's very strong for sure. So, I mean, overall, with heroes as an esport, the multiple maps, the different dynamics, it's much different than your traditional MOBA like League and Dota. And obviously, you would agree, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, I was gonna say I think the biggest thing though about Heroes is that like it's really viewer friendly. Like you don't really have to like play the game at all to kind of figure out what's going on, and I think that's a huge plus.
So yeah, I mean that's actually what my question was going to be. You do think that the game is going to be a spectator success to some extent?
I think so for sure, because like in League, if you have no clue what's going on, like you can kind of understand, but that's mostly like the shoutcasters telling you what to do. Like I guarantee most people wouldn't understand what's going on if you just muted like when you're watching a game. But I think with Heroes, if it actually like no one's talking, the game's muted, you'll still kind of get what's going on because they do a really good job at it.
Yeah, I mean it's very true. Well, Coobs, any questions here?
Can you talk a little bit more about your specific role in the team? Like, do you tend to play one type of class, one particular type of role, or does that sort of float around on the team?
It mostly came down to like I was gonna just play tanks because they needed a tank player, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll play tanks. And then it went down to like if I'm not like a roamer or something like that, because I'm the only one that has like lots of scrim experience. Because I've been like, I think the second day in I started scrimming because. Two of my old League players on my first competitive team play for MYIEU. So like when I first got in the game, they're the ones that like I play with mostly, and I was scrimming like after day 2 for like about a month straight, just like subbing for people and stuff. So I actually have like lots of like competitive knowledge in the game. So when it goes to the point where I'm not roaming or I'm just soloing in a lane, lots of the other people on my team don't have like knowledge because we haven't scrimmed enough together. So. Mostly we switched to me playing tanks to just being a roamer.
Do you find that you're making the shot calls, or because you have that experience?
Yeah, I think I make most of the shot calls, but everyone does shot call on the team, you know?
Okay.
But it comes down to, like, when one person needs to go somewhere, like, because they're doing a camp and stuff like that, it's mostly down to the roamer to figure that stuff out, and that's what we needed mostly, so I switched to it.
Okay.
So who you been roaming with?
Like Arthas, Nova. That's pretty much it, I think. I don't think there's like super good roamers. It's mostly either tri-lanes or you have Arthas, Nova, and roam.
Arthas, Nova, yeah. You guys play with Arthas Kerrigan at all? That used to be incredibly popular, but it's kind of fallen out.
Ever since the Kerrigan nerf, we never played her.
Yeah, it's sad to see. It's sad to see. I miss those Kerrigan days. I really do.
Sonya got nerfed hard too. I really don't know why they nerfed Sonya. I think she was in a really good spot. Like she had lots of damage, but she had no escape, and then they just removed her damage.
Yeah, I don't think anyone here would disagree. Corey's so sad. He came back from Japan. His two favorite heroes are like Sonya Hammer, and they both got obliterated in the last patch. It's just...
Yeah. It's rough. It's really rough.
You got Stitches still.
I do have Stitches.
And you had Sergeant Hammer before that, so yeah, Corey, you're I'm just gonna stay away from any heroes that you like.
Yeah,
to play.
that's good. I like Anubarak right now. He's a lot of fun.
No, don't Anubarak. I love Anubarak lately.
Rip.
He's gone.
Rip.
How are you feeling about BlizzCon on your chances of winning it?
I do think one thing we have, I think, compared to most teams, is that we have competitive experience, like, on LAN as a team. I think us and Fnatic are probably the only people that have it. I think it definitely will pull a factor in it, but I think right now, I think the solid team, or the best team out of all the teams there is Liquid, because they've been showing the most results and they've been playing the most.
Yeah, back-to-back second place at Kings of the Storm. I mean, they're playing really well. And each week they look a lot better. They really do. But you guys are in a similar boat. Every time I see you guys look a lot stronger as well. And I'm definitely excited to watch Kings of the Nexus. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Kings of the Nexus, yeah. I even forget. It's been so long since we've been able to do it. Since I think it was before custom games went live. I think was the last time we were able to do it. So
it's been several.
Unfortunately,
weeks.
This week has been absolutely booked for me, so I won't be able to cast those. But I'm gonna look forward to actually seeing the VODs later on.
Well, let's fast forward or rewind back into kind of just like the esports events that we had this weekend. There was a lot going on. We saw a lot of good games. We had Kings of the Storm, we had HPL, and we had... You guys didn't do your show match yet, though, but you guys played a show match against Liquid.
Oh, that was a while back.
Last week. That was the beginning of last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah.
Feels like it was long ago.
I believe that was like last Tuesday or last... It was after our last show, I think. Or maybe it was last Wednesday, Thursday. We didn't talk about it last week.
We talked about it last week. Yeah, we had a...
Okay.
Yeah, we specifically talked about it.
Rip me. All right, so let's talk about...
it was like 2 weeks ago.
So you guys played... I can pull up the bracket right now, actually. I'm bringing that on the screen. Give me 2 seconds here, guys.
Apparently, you guys had a sick game versus 2ARC that I still need to cast. I got the replay sitting on my desktop. Apparently, you guys had a... Yeah, it was apparently like a long game or something like that.
Yeah, the problem was I wasn't roaming that game, and that's when we really figured out that I have to roam or nothing will happen. Pretty much.
Okay.
All right, so we actually, Zoya and I casted, we did a cast for your game versus Cosmic Slammo. And you guys won that game pretty convincingly, if I remember correctly. That was the first game of the day that we started with there. You guys looked really strong. I don't remember your comp. That was the best of one. But overall, like, in your thoughts on that, like, coming into this event, you guys just, like, just here to prove yourself? Like, what's your mentality in these tournaments? Like, what do you...
I think pretty much our mentality is just play as much as we can, getting every single thing that will give us competitive play. Because right now, like I said, we're lacking on knowledge. Like, I think mechanic-wise, like, we're definitely one of the top teams that have the best mechanics. But mechanics don't mean anything if you have not enough knowledge of the game. So, like, we'll go for kills a lot of times instead of getting an objective. And then, like this game, if you get a kill, unless it's a super late game, it really means nothing if someone else is still getting XP in the lane. And, like, figuring stuff out like that and, like, having the timings for when Garden is up and stuff like that, like, timing down when Mines is up, when Tributes is going to spawn is still pretty new to us, and we're adjusting to it.
I mean, that's a really good point, because obviously that is a different beast when it comes to knowing all those little nuances and when tribute spawn. I mean, even still, there's so many players that don't even know that. So your game against...
I was asking that question the other night. Like, I know, like, the general time, but I never knew when the second tribute was. It just, for me, like, I mean, there has to be rhyme or reason to it, but I never actually, like, sat down and actually calculated the time. And it was just like, you know, I have a feeling when the second tribute's going to come up. But it is, I mean, it's still something that a lot of people are still trying to grasp on all that, too.
Let's talk about Cursed Hollow a bit. I don't know how I played a little bit of League. I don't recall too much RNG in it, but Cursed Hollow has a huge RNG factor on it with where the tributes could spawn and you know what time and stuff. How do you feel? Like, and that's the only map right now in Heroes that has an RNG factor on it. How do you feel about that?
I feel like the RNG should be a little less RNG. Like, I think it's fine that it spawns like it, but it should be, if it spawned top, then it should spawn bottom, no matter what, you know? Because, like, I think if it spawns twice to where, like, top is like, and then it could spawn twice on your side, I think it should be, like, where they're at is fine, but I think they should be moved over a little bit more closer to each side, so that way it's, like, a little on your side, not a lot on your side, because especially in early games where, like, heroes are constantly dying and running back, whoever's, like, the closest to it has the way bigger advantage.
It's a huge advantage for the first two tributes. It's huge. It's ridiculous, actually.
So I think they should adjust a bit on that. And then the curse, too, like, they made it so that the curse gives you a huge advantage to the point where your mobs kill all the enemy mobs in one hit, so you're not getting the XP from that, but if you get a fort, it's going to make up for it, so that's what, like, the huge reason why that is. I wish it was, like, a little less snowbally compared to, like, if you got the tribute earlier, it should be, like, should be strong, but I don't think it should be as strong as it is now. Because if you get, like, an early 3 tributes and you have the whole map control, and then you just keep getting tributes because you have a talent lead, it can get snowbally really quick.
But at the same time, I mean, you could argue that the map promotes, like, more diverse situations. I mean, honestly, I think Cursed Hollow, it doesn't... Is it a bad thing that there's no certainty? There's so many, like, unknown factors. Like, you could get a golem.
We were casting a game this weekend, Jake, where we both said, wow, they just won Curse because of RNG.
Well, I know, but I'm asking for his opinion. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. But at the same time, it could have been the other way around. They could have, like, been in a really bad spot for that curse because they were at that siege giant, or the grave golem, right? And you know, they were taking the grave golem, curse spawns right next to them on the bottom side of the map. Is that a big problem, or is that, like, an exciting factor?
I think if the RNG was less, like, I think it's fine to have its own map mechanic, you know, because RNG is just part of that map. Like, that's what the good thing is. Like, you can ban pick maps. That's, like, the whole thing of the game.
That's true. That's a good point.
So I think it's fine. I just think it needs to be toned down because, like, you could legit get, like, 3 perfect spawns on your side. Like, if you're super lucky, like a best of 3 even, and then there's, like, you have it on your side and you have, like, global on your team. So you with promotes, like, you could just be the luckiest people and then just win because of that. Like, it's really hard to recover on that map, especially if you get luck on your side. Like, if the enemy gets luck on their side, like, yeah, they can recover. But if you have perfect luck, it's, like, really hard to lose. So I think the RNG should get toned down a bit.
Fair enough.
I think, yeah, I think I have to agree. I mean, the curse is really strong for the amount of RNG that comes with it. I remember 2-Arc, we casted a game on one of the weeklies, and it was just like, anytime 2-Arc was at a spot, the curse spawned there, and just 2-Arc was able to just get this like ridiculous snowball going on. But with the snowball effect that could possibly exist with curse, because, you know, if your enemy gets a little bit ahead, they can get a lot more curses as well. Somebody asked a question, Lord Shotgun 16 says, do you feel that individual levels in HOTS are too powerful? For example, a team that is 1 level behind has a serious disadvantage. Being 2 level behind is extremely difficult to come back. How are you guys dealing with that, considering that's, you know, I mean, I know you said before that in League, you know, you're a little bit behind in your lane, but, you know, going ahead into the game, and so a little bit, you know, during times there's team fights. How are you feeling about that?
I feel most of it comes down to picks. Like, if you're a level behind, I don't think it's a big deal. It just comes down if you're a talent behind. I think that's the biggest thing people need to realize, because even if you're 2 levels behind is pretty big, but if you're 3 levels behind and they have a talent too, then you're just screwed. Like, you can't fight them no matter what. You have to do anything besides fight them. But once they make it to the point where, like, you're only a level or even 2 levels behind, but you're not a talent behind, it's not nearly as bad. Like, yeah, they're a little stronger, they do a little more damage, they're a little more tankier, but they don't have that full talent that gives them a whole new, like, thing. So you still have chances to fight them, and then it comes down to your team comp whether or not you can win team fights.
How is your team reacting to situations when you have level 9 versus level 10? Like, you know, you guys are level 9 and the enemy team's level 10. Are you just soaking experience, playing?
It's pretty much either you try and find someone out of position and you just kill them because they're being cocky because they're 10, or you just have 3 people soak a lane and then you have to give up a fort. But even a 10 versus 11 isn't a big deal at all. Like, you're still going to win a team fight if you had a good engage.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking about just talents in general, how do you like the talent system? Do you think it's diverse enough?
I think it's hard to say because there's so little heroes out right now. Like, it's true I would like to see more variety, but with so little heroes, it's kind of hard to be like, it's not enough. But I do think certain talents are a little too strong, but then some heroes without the talents wouldn't be nearly as good, so I see why they're there.
Cool.
How do you feel about Resurgence?
Resurgence needs at least 6-minute cooldown on it. I have no clue why it's legit. If you die like 3 times in 2 minutes and still be up like for like 80% of the time, it makes no sense. And late game fights are like the most ridiculous thing, because like tanks right now, if you run double tank and you have 2 resurgences, legit all you try and do is dive. That's it. You don't care because you have resurgence. You're like, okay, I'm dead, and then you come back. You're like, okay, now I'm not gonna die for a minute and we'll be good. It's kind of weird, and I don't like it where the point is, hey, they killed both our tanks, but they killed one of our people that don't have resurgence, and now we pretty much lost the game because the respawn timer is 70 seconds.
Yeah, it is very short, and 6 minutes would be quite the change.
I think 6 minutes is perfect.
So going into BlizzCon, you said you think Liquid's the strongest. You think they have the best chance, but you said you guys have that stage experience. Do you think you guys are going to take it? Is that where you're going into this? You guys have this event?
Maybe. You know, I wouldn't say with 100% confidence that we would win it, but I definitely don't think. I definitely think we have a good shot. Like, it's not. I don't think we'll ever get blown out of the water. Like, we'll get stomped in the games or anything like that.
So you're there to play. You're there to win.
Exactly, and it's a win it.
Which teams have you been scrimming with right now?
We versed, I think, we scrimmed 2-Arc, one of the ESV teams, SMG, and then I think we scrimmed Liquid a long time ago. Or actually, I think that was just the show match.
The show match, cool. So again, another comparison, League to Heroes. League has a little bit more of a elaborate pick ban process. At what point in Heroes' career, at what number of heroes do you think it should develop more than one ban?
I think more than like what number of heroes, what number of viable heroes is the biggest thing. Because even in League right now, viable hero wise, there's probably like maybe 5 for each role. So like That's only 25 heroes, like for like the actual game, even though it has like over 100 heroes. So I think if there was legit like 8 more viable heroes, then easily throw in another ban.
Interesting.
How do you feel about the roles in heroes? Do you feel? I mean, specialist is pretty much underrepresented for the most part. I mean, I haven't seen the latest Kings of the Storm, but for the most part, specialist is almost an entire role that doesn't really exist that much in competitive. We see mostly warriors, supports, and assassins. How do you feel about those roles?
I feel like even right now with like the roles, what they are, I just think that it just like that's just what the hero is. Like a melee assassin is just a squishy person that does damage. Range assassin is just range does damage, and then Tassadar says support, but I think they messed up there. You should just say broken. But
Broken.
But I think mostly it just comes down to like it doesn't matter what it says because it's just what the hero can do. Because you have heroes that like for warriors that are bruisers, and then you have some that are pure tanks, and then you have some that can do everything like Arthas. So like it doesn't really come down to what they say. It's just what the actual hero can do. So I think looking at it is actually a mistake. Like thinking the hero's a warrior just because it is what it says.
Yeah.
Now, I actually don't play a lot of League, but do they classify things as is something called a support? Yeah. Okay. It is the same thing. Okay.
All right. I think my final question is, who is your favorite hero aside from Tassadar, and why is it Murky?
Okay. It's probably... Let's go with most fun hero. How about that?
Yes, right, that's good.
Okay, because favor is probably just something that's really strong. I think the hero I have the most fun with is like probably Illidan. I think Illidan is so fun.
Oh my god! And Trixler just left our chat. If you don't know, Trixler, Tim Fraser from Blizzard, absolutely loves Illidan like to pieces. So yeah. I'm sure he's gonna be really happy to hear that.
Well, transitioning.
You know, wait, hold on. You know what this means now.
What?
You have to play Illidan. You have to play Illidan at BlizzCon.
I'll rock Illidan, dude. It doesn't matter if I get kicked from my team, just to represent.
I like it. Well, transitioning from that point, Trixlayer indeed is in fact going to be casting at the event that Kevin just mentioned. He will be hosting the stage for. We can take a look here. It's the BlizzCon Brawl. Now we can see this is the show match. The people participating in this show match, we have Jesse Cox, Smosh, Matt Sohinki, I'm going to butcher all these names, Smosh, Dave, Lasercorn, Moss, and then Eric, Krendor, Hrab. I don't actually know a lot of these people. Mike, Husky, Lamont, of course, Husky, StarCraft. I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos. And then Nerdist, I've heard of Nerdist, and then Malk Forte. 4 guys from Rocket Jump, Jimmy Wong, Freddie Wong, Matt Arnold, and Josh Lee Qual. And now this is the show match here, guys. This is what's going on, and if you look at all the other information, obviously we have the little mini invitational going on, which is Cloud9, where Zuna will be playing Fnatic, Evil Geniuses, and Team Liquid. Those are the 4 teams. It's basically 2 semifinals on Friday, and then Saturday there's going to be a grand finals for the prize. Casters are in fact going to be Trixlayer and Cloaken, both community managers over at Blizzard Entertainment. Very talented guys, and Anna Prosser and our wonderful co-host here, Mr. Sham 2, will be the hosts on the stage. So that's what's really, that's like, in terms of like competition, that's what we're going to see for matches for Heroes of the Storm at BlizzCon. But Zuna, we ask everyone this. You're wearing a Diablo shirt right now, and I assume that means you've played Diablo 3. Are there any heroes that you're desperately anxious for Blizzard to add into Heroes of the Storm?
What was that segue, Jake?
It sort of worked.
Why couldn't we talk about all that BlizzCon stuff he just brought up? Just, we brought it up and then...
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk. I didn't know if there was a lot to talk about. It's like a show. We've talked about all the teams multiple times.
And talked about the Invitational and who's been casting and stuff.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Let's talk about it, because it's. I don't know how much there is to talk about. Kevin already talked about.
I'm excited to see Tim casting it. I don't think he's only casted like one of the matches back a long time ago, but Tim is an incredibly great caster. Mm-hmm. He won the IPL 5. So you think you can cast, I think it was So You Think You Can Cast. Yeah, the caster challenge. To become an IPL full-time employee just from casting alone. and you know, he's a great caster. I've known him throughout StarCraft 2 and play him, so
We both cast with Tim a lot back in the play.
yeah, exactly. So I'm really happy to see Tim able to do that, and I think he's going to do an amazing job.
Of course, and Cloakin as well.
Has he casted much? I haven't seen much of his casting.
I've seen him on camera.
I know since the moment
on camera he's amazing.
Yes.
I know since like the moment that Cloakin was first on camera, the very first time, compared to now, he has improved so much in just his presence and speaking ability. So I have no doubt he won't be.
He's great on camera now. He really is. He really is. So I mean, I saw those names. I was just like, makes perfect sense. It's going to be a great show.
As for the players, since Jake doesn't know any of them, it's pretty awesome.
I know
like,
Husky.
We have Husky, Krendor, and Jesse Cox, who are all big. Like, Jesse Cox is just a big YouTuber in general, but they all do WoW. I know Krendor's a big WoW guy, and then Husky StarCraft as well. But they're all cool. Like involved with Blizzard Universe, which is awesome. And then the two Smosh guys. I mean, Smosh runs the second biggest YouTube channel right now.
Smosh is huge. Yeah, they are.
Smosh is
really?
huge.
I didn't. Yeah.
And then the Rocket Jump guy.
Who's Rocket Jump?
Yeah, I
was going to ask.
They're the guys behind Video Game High School.
Okay.
They're
I
really
just. You know what? It's really weird. I was on the subway today, and I looked up, and I just saw like ads for Video Game High School. I was like, huh, I wonder what that is. And it's really weird that you mentioned it because I've never seen those ads before.
Well, because season 3 is coming out now, and they're promoting it like crazy. So
Video Game High School is awesome, and like they've been YouTubers for a while. I mean, Freddie Wong used to make Guitar Hero YouTube videos all the time, which were pretty popular, and now they're like all like really. Like they have like a legit production crew, like you would see on a TV show doing like YouTube videos, which is awesome. And like they're all huge YouTubers, which
I think
cool
it's
to
on
see.
Netflix though. They're like so big that it's on Netflix. I watched season 1 on Netflix actually. Yeah. So that's awesome.
They'll be pulling in views from so many different places. Like it's not just Blizzard Universe. Like to see those people. I don't know who the 5th guy on the Rocket Jump team was, but. That's the only person I did
he's
not
from
know
Nerdist, and Nerdist is huge as well.
Okay, well, like it just pulls audience from so many different places that it's not just going to be the Blizzard people watching. You know, you're going to watch the Rocket Jump fans, and you're going to have the Smosh fans watching. It's going to be awesome.
And the team names, of course, Team Low Expectations.
Yeah, Team Low Expectations. I laughed so hard.
That's standard Husky. That's standard.
So
Husky.
Good. Great stuff. Yeah, I'm, you know, I just want to see how they're gonna take everything. I have no idea. I didn't actually read the interviews just yet, because I haven't really had time yet. But
yeah,
I've had time and I haven't read them either. They looked so like the first question was like, "Which hero are you most like?" And I was like, "Okay, I don't care."
Husky's like, I'm like Abathur because I stay at home and don't go anywhere or something. I don't know. Let me actually find it. It was pretty. Husky's was pretty funny. Anyways, do you guys actually know who the Observer is, Andrew?
Yeah, it's Kibbles.
Oh, that's Kibbles. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Kibbles. Oh, Kibbles is doing it?
I read Architas. I was like, who is that?
Yeah, Andrew Dunn. That's Kibbles.
Okay. Architas threw me off because he's no longer Kibbles, because that's his Blizzard name, apparently. I've actually never heard his Blizzard name.
Kibbles, another Playhem caster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually know both Trickslayer and Kibbles. From MLG. Met him the same weekend. Actually, no, I think I knew Trickslayer before Kibbles. Anyways, I worked with both of them at an MLG a long time ago, and I worked with Jared at an MLG a long time ago. So it's a small world here in the Heroes community. It really is.
All right, let's go back to that segue, Jake. Zuna, what hero do you want to see added to the game from any Blizzard universe?
I want to see Gromhouse Scream or Kel'Thuzad mostly.
Kel'Thuzad. He was on that. He was confirmed in that leaked list.
Was he? No, Kel'Thas was.
No, Kel'Thuzad was on that leaked list. Yes.
Really cool.
Yeah, he would be very cool. I mean, what's your Blizzard gaming history? Are you have you played a lot of their games? I played
Warcraft 3. I played StarCraft 2. I was never like hardcore into it, but I played a lot of Warcraft 3, and then I switched to Dota, then played WoW, then played Heroes of New Earth, then League, and now HOTS.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, and I played some Diablo, of course.
I was gonna say, because aren't you wearing a Diablo hoodie right now?
Yeah, I just forgot about that because I never considered like Diablo competitive. That's why I didn't mention it.
I didn't know if you were just a fan of Justice or if you just if you actually played Diablo 3 or not.
We're all just ashamed of it.
We're all just ashamed of it. Okay.
I mean, Diablo 2 was the only one that was worth playing, but
So
Diablo 1 was fun.
let's go into a Diablo segue. Now, Kev, I know you haven't watched the VODs this weekend because you were busy. You were working an event.
Yeah.
And Zuna, I'm not sure if you caught these games, but we had ESP Wildfire running a triple tank composition plus Rhaegar and an assassin. I believe they had Falstad in game 1. And one of their tanks was
I
actually...
think I read Nova both games, actually.
You might be right. But one of their tanks was Diablo. And they were running a lightning build strat where Diablo would shadow charge in, flip someone, and then just pop lightning breath. And they took one of the 4 games that Symbiote Gaming's ever lost with this build. So I guess what my question is, well, let's start with just Diablo. And Kev, we'll start with you. Do you think I mean, you haven't seen this, but how do you feel about Lightning Breath as a whole?
I don't know if he's even taken game. Like, Kevin hasn't played Heroes at all.
No, he has. I've seen him use a new Lightning Breath. I've seen him play with it.
Like twice a few weeks ago.
I've been using it quite a lot. But preface this with I've been using it in solo queue. And the reason I do that is I'd have to see his build to see what they were really going for and what the viability is for competitive. But
Poom in the chat.
I see Poom is in chat. So Poom, if I have a Diablo build, I can give you something on it. But
Poom.
I mean, what I love to do about Lightning Breath right now is just use battle momentum and just use it to take jungle camps a ton. And if you're doing stuff like that, and if you start off with Lightning Breath and you just get a whole bunch of auto attack swipes, like Lightning Breath will be up your next team fight anyway. So it's really good for solo queue because it just allows you to do whatever you need to do. In terms of competitive play and going for team fights, I find that's a little bit odd. I mean, it's a little bit stronger, it has a little bit more burst, and I will agree there. But I still feel like Apocalypse is way better. Apocalypse does have the drawback of the fact you have a 120-second cooldown. I could see it. I'm not sure if I really am a fan of it, because that also means you have to sacrifice Bolt later on, and that's what I'm really kind of against, because you need to get Endless Breath, because that's just...
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
Or whatever it's... yeah, it's Endless Breath, right? Yeah. Am I thinking of the Warlock spell?
Hellstorm?
I don't know. I mean, it was cool to see, and I mean, like you said, they took a game off SMG, so it has a place. But I think it's very situational, and I don't think that'll ever work against MCG again, just because they figured it out pretty quickly, and were able to shut it down. So I mean, it definitely works. It's not something we're gonna see like, oh, let's just bust out Diablo of Lightning Breath, because even the next day when we were testing Wildfire, they took Apocalypse over Lightning Breath. It was a very situational thing, and it catches people off guard. But I don't think it's something that like, well, let's just run Diablo Lightning Breath because it's that good now. No, it's very situational. It can work because obviously they took a game off SMG, but...
Well, let's just take a quick look at Poom's build. He was gracious enough to link it here in the chat room. And we see level 1, he's grabbing Soul Feast. At level 4, he's getting Amplified Healing, so pretty tanky so far. Endless Death at level 7, and Lightning Breath is being picked up at 10. Spell Shield at 13, Firestorm at 16, and Hellstorm at 20. So more or less.
What order was Diablo picked in their
one of their last picks, I think 4th or 5th.
What was SMG's team?
It was just standard.
It was it was very.
Was it a hard engage team?
I believe it was.
No, they had like Nova.
Oh, it was a Nova counter. That's right.
Yeah, they were like, it was really good against Nova because Nova's got to get kind of in when Nova has to go in for snipes and stuff. It's in range of Lightning Breath, and I mean, Arthon was out of position the time he got completely wrecked by it, most of the times he got wrecked by it.
Yeah.
I mean, the hardest thing about Lightning Breath, I mean, it's good for burst damage. And why I like going Apocalypse is because you can set up team fights with Apocalypse, and you can kind of like also like mid fight use it. What I find a little bit difficult with Lightning Breath when it's only level 10 before it's level 20 is that it has to be like the enemy team has to be really invested in trying to kill you, which makes it hard for you to either stay alive or they have to be engaging on you, right?
Well,
like,
I mean, to go over the comp there, they were running triple tank with like a Chen, and they had Rhaegar as a healer, so nothing was ever dying just because of ancestral healing. Like whenever something that was finally about to die, they would top it off. I mean, it was cute and it was kind of cheesy. And I will give it to Poom. He was topping damage in all of those games.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
especially with Firestorm.
once
I'm
SMG
looking
figured out the
for that.
strategy, I think they were banning Rhaegar, and then they were taking Raynor just because of the how hard he can hit tanks. It got shut down pretty easily after that.
Yeah.
Except for that final game where they did the silly judgment strat. But
Game
not
one,
judgment signatures.
game one was Anubarak, Stitches, Diablo, Tychus, and Uther. Hyper tanky. That's Wildfire versus Arthas, Falstad, Chen, Brightwing, Nova.
Zuna, what are your thoughts on Lightning Breath Diablo?
I don't know. I don't think Diablo's that strong, but I think
Absolutely.
Diablo.
That's all right. Nope. Your opinion ends there. Diablo, best character in game. I'm out.
I just think it comes down to if you really need a tank, and then you just need someone that can roam, or like just be really tanky, and then you don't care if he dies to pull off damage. I think it's fine because like if you can get a stun, but your stun's not gonna land on people because they can run away because you have no CC. There's no point getting it really unless they're like hard dive so it can land. So sometimes all you need is just a little bit of damage to win you a fight. Then I don't see anything wrong with picking it up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Poom was topping damage.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see. I know I was kind of like shrugging it off, and it definitely does work, and it has a place, but it's very specific. And
Well,
like I said,
you pointed
SMG
out,
figured it out very quickly.
and you pointed out in the cast there were a few lightning breaths that did absolutely nothing. A few of them that were just like, what did that accomplish? Whereas in Apocalypse, much easier to get the guarantee out of it. So yeah,
And the next day when they used Apocalypse, we saw that very thing. I think they 2-0'd, like, what were they playing? Were they playing Vex?
Oh, in HPL.
In HPL, yeah. The next day, like, they used
rocked them.
Apocalypse.
They picked
and
Apocalypse
it was
and it just
destruction.
I
It was
mean,
just-
Poom was on the other side of the map, and he popped the perfect Apocalypse that hit like everyone, and he wasn't even in the fight, and that's just an extra bonus. So, obviously, that Poom isn't dead set on Apocalypse, but he seems to really like Diablo, which is cool to see because we don't see almost any Diablo playing competitive play right now.
He's the only one.
He really is. He really is. So I got to give Poom a lot of credit for.
Wildfire's always been weird like that, though.
Yeah.
They're always like the odd ones,
So
but they make it work.
So Zuna, you said you don't think Diablo is very strong. Are there any heroes that aren't popular in the meta that you'd say have potential?
Maybe Illidan, but that's it.
A lot of people stick to Illidan. Yeah, a lot of people think Illidan has potential.
I think we're slowly getting to that point.
With Illidan, as long as they don't have like a lot of lockdown and they can never kill you, I think he's really strong because he has decent damage and he can stick on anyone. It's just if they have CCs and like high burst, you just die instantly and you feel completely useless.
Yeah.
But if you can actually stay alive in the team fights and like they only have like I don't know like maybe 1 or 2 big spells and you can actually metamorphose it like to dodge them, then I think you're actually really strong because you do a lot of damage and you can stick on anything.
I think one of the bigger problems with Illidan is if your team's behind, he feels really, really hard to get anything done with. If you're like 1 or 2 levels behind, like you're basically 4v5 at that point. It feels like, but maybe that's just me. Our next topic here today is the core health. Is it too low? We've seen a lot of dives. We've seen the all-in composition where you run with Zagara, Abathur, Falstad, ETC, and Brightwing, and you just literally backdoor for the keep, and then you backdoor for the core, and you just end the game because the core is pretty squishy. And we saw some games this weekend where we had some really close matches, but the core.
Well, let's explain that those really close matches weren't using that cheese strategy. That is possible, yes, but that's
they weren't. No, they weren't using that. They were not using that. I'm just that's one example, and then we saw other examples where, I mean, late game team wipe, and then you walk across the map and you just burn the core. Now, is that a good? I mean, is that how the game should be? If you lose a team fight, should you lose the game? At late game, maybe it should be that way. But a lot of people poke and prod at the core very quickly, especially with stuff like Abathur minions, and we've seen the infested catapults that do 12% damage to the core. There's a lot of things that really just... We see some people just like... I mean, Symbiote's decision-making late game, they just end the game. And if the core wasn't as squishy, honestly, other teams might be able to defend better. So, okay, discuss. I mean, I'm just kind of repeating it, but what do you guys think about the core?
I think for me, I think the core definitely needs to be more tanky, especially early game. And I think one of the bigger problems is that like with backdoor strats is you can kill keeps without killing forts, and I think that should be changed too. And then I think for the keep or the core, like maybe not make it tankier, but give it like some type of turret that you have to kill before you kill the core. Like, give it some type of leeway, because like Mule's the only thing that can heal the core besides shield. So if someone acted like a backdoor strat, just like goes in, brings it down to 20%, like legit, all you're doing at the point is you're not even playing the game anymore. You're just trying to find them so they don't go back on your core. And all they're trying to do is, like, if you do one camp, they're trying to backdoor the core the whole game. It's
so,
like
essentially a second tower behind each keep for each lane. Essentially, that's what you're suggesting.
Well, not like its own thing, not just like a regular tower, because towers are so weak in this game that like an actual like something. Because I think the core by itself right now definitely needs to be changed because it's way too squishy. Like if you ever get a push, like a pretty strong push, and like let's say one person even gets caught out, and then they're on your core's taken, like your core's dead. If they're all 5 on it and your keep's dead, like I don't like somehow the games happen like that where you get snowballed to there. But I feel like not being able to defend it all is like just because it's a core by itself. There's nothing else helping it.
Yeah, death pushes are, I mean, just such a big problem because it's really easy just to chew through a keep and everything, and keeps don't really offer that much more defense than the fort before it, except for the fact that you know if you die you get to respawn right there.
Yeah.
It's not the actual taking the core that's the problem for me. It's multiple games this week from I mean we got the 2-arc 2%, the 2-arc 1%, and then it happens so often where like a snowflake pushed the core, wiped at 1% after being up 13-1 in kills, having complete domination of the game. 2-arc runs across the map and kills the core. It was the biggest throw in the history of Heroes, and it happens all the time. It wasn't just that game. It happens all the time where one team is miles and miles ahead or just even has an advantage, and then they wipe at like a later point in the game, and all it takes is like, oh, we haven't even taken a keep. Oh well, we win. It's got to have its health increased.
Well, I mean,
its scaling change. It's a crazy.
I mean, there's a couple of things that come into play there. Then, I mean, if you're going to bring up that as a point, I mean, wouldn't that also kind of bring up something like respawn timers as well?
Yeah, that could be it too. But if you change respawn timers, that would have that would affect more things than just ending the game. Like changing respawn timers would increase the length of games like hugely. The only problem right now I have with the core right now is just that if it's a wipe at one point in the game, they can just push across no matter how much map control they have. Even if there's still forts up, they can go and end the game.
Yeah, but they messed up, right?
Well, yeah, they messed up. Obviously, you could be like, well, Snowflake shouldn't have thrown there, but
right.
They were up 13 kills to 1 with full map control.
Well, all right. I mean, that might be more of like a.
But I mean, you look at
a level difference thing on like how much of an effect that has. But I don't know. I mean, if you
it's not just that game
wiped,
though. It's all the time, and it's not. It doesn't matter if like if all keeps are taken, all forts are taken, and it's been this close back and forth game. One team wipes. Of course, you should be able to push across the map and lose. Mm-hmm. But when it was just that dominating of a game, and other games like that have been that case, it's just.
It happens in League a lot too.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Is it? I mean, if you're late game in League, if you're 45 minutes into League, and you throw a team fight, like you get all killed, can you just push and win?
Not if you haven't, like you said, they're dominating that hard, and they haven't took any of their first turrets. No, because you'd have to kill the first turret, and then you'd have to kill the second turret, then you'd have to kill the third turret, and then you'd have to kill the 2 turrets before the core. So, and not just that, if you try and backdoor in that game, the turrets actually gain armor and magic, or just armor. You can't use spells on them, but they gain a lot of armor if you just try and backdoor, so they don't die easily. Like I think one thing in this game too. Is they should have some type of backdoor mechanic. I think that would change a lot.
Okay. I actually like the idea of the having to take the fort in the lane too. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I think you do.
No. You only need to take the keep. You only need to take the keep.
Okay. Yeah. So fort. So I know to get catapult is fort and keep, but just keep and you can.
But usually at that point, someone's taking the fort. Like I've never seen a situation where
someone
hasn't taken a fort.
Very uncommon.
And then that's happened to them.
Yeah. It's just like it almost seems like you said, they need to take all those different towers. It almost seems like they need to have maybe a second set of defense within the actual base, like behind the keeps.
Like, it's mainly just that one game. Like, before it wasn't so bad, but that one game with Snowflake, I mean, everyone who watched that game realized that Snowflake threw hard, but, like, it wasn't like it was a close back-and-forth game where, like, oh, no,
Yeah.
you know, Idra was out of position, and then they had to fight a 5v4. It was destruction, 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 and then we wiped at 1%, and then we lost.
I mean, we were casting that game. We couldn't believe it happened. It was just like, wow. And yeah, it's harsh.
Obviously, you should be punished for throwing.
Right,
but
they should have
that
lost
was
at
like-
least
Okay.
to keep for it. But yeah, to lose the game after that was very harsh.
Well, hold on. So let me try because I didn't see the game. So let me get the situation. They were dominating the entire game,
Yeah, pretty much.
but still had their keep gone.
No, their keep wasn't even down.
They
So
pushed a
did-
lane.
They
took
pushed.
Did they push
Okay.
a lane from a fort and push, or had they already?
No, the
taken
fort
a
was up. The fort was up. No, the fort was down. They had taken a fort.
Okay.
They just.
It
as
was like
soon as-
almost. I'll have to check the replay, but it was probably like a 2 to 3 level lead with 13 kills to 1. Like, it was.
Yeah.
Snowflake had full control of the game.
I guess I'd have to watch the match because it sounds like there's more of like an emotional attachment to it. But I don't hear anything wrong with that situation. Like if
You don't
really
hear anything wrong with being up 13 kills to 1, having full control of the game.
Okay,
and
if you're,
one
if you're
mistake.
if you're 3 levels up, how did you get team wiped?
They went for the core. They
They
tried ending
dove
it.
too hard.
Okay, then you messed up. Like,
But do you deserve to lose the match
Yeah.
just like that? No.
yeah, the game
is
should
too
the game should be
extreme.
short. Like if you make any kind of exceptions past this, then like you're just dragging the games out too long. I think. Like you made a gigantic error. You're gonna lose.
Oh, it's 16 to 1. I mean, it wasn't. No. They like yes,
all right,
losing a-
but still,
shit.
I preface this. I do need to watch the match, so I really shouldn't throw out like crazy opinions here. But that's what it sounds like to me from somebody who hasn't seen it. Like if they're 3 levels up, then they shouldn't have been wiped completely.
Well, maybe it wasn't 3 levels up. Like I said, they're going for the keep. Which is
It's
standard. It was a
it's
throw.
a really
like, I'm not trying to
it's-
defend Snowflake. It was 100% a throw.
It's a sticky situation because I mean you're looking at end game mechanics, and they were 2% away, so they were just a little bit off in their calculations, and they paid for it dearly. I guess they were tanking core; their creep wave wasn't with them. I'd have to see the game too, but I mean I could see in the right in one situation I could see it working. I'd have to see how it went. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. I don't know if I like that much of a tip.
Yeah.
But
Normally, throwing is fine, and they go push the core. I'm okay. Like I haven't had a problem with anything SMG's done over the last several months. And anytime anyone like, oh, we wiped you, let's go take core, despite being down on the map, I'm fine with that. But this was just such like. I mean, Jake, you cast with me. It was such an extreme.
We were in shock.
Like,
we were like,
it was
we actually
it's
didn't have
absurd.
words. We were just like, that actually just
It
happened.
must have been mid lane that they pushed down.
Yeah. It was on Dragonshire.
Yeah, they just walked down. They just literally mounted up, ran across the map on Dragonshire, and then just took the keep and took the core. And Snowflake was maybe just about to spawn or just spawning as the game ended.
It was really close.
'cause
I know Tyrael was the only one up.
around level 20, 21, 22, I believe. This was an HPL, yes?
Yeah, it was.
We
it
casted
was
so many games this weekend that I'm...
maybe not, yeah, it was HPL. Yeah, 2 Arc versus.
I don't know.
I'm not trying to take anything away from 2 Arc from that game because but I think even they would agree that Snowflake threw that hard. But not even that like hard. Like,
It sounds like a super extreme thing that I really don't.
They
think
should have got
happen
more
again
Resurgence
anytime
heroes.
soon.
They should have got more. I don't even think there are 20 yet, Jake.
I know. I'm trolling.
It's not like I have a problem with the core overall. I just think it needs to be small tweaks. Change to the way it's scaled, but to be able to end it that easily, that was.
I think I have to agree a little bit, but I think it needs to have the HP regen back up because you have to pick up Mule in order to like heal it. And I mean, Mule is the best talent in game, but I mean, anybody who doesn't pick up Mule is kind of dumb. But
I don't think HP regen would have changed there because again, it was just one push.
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
It was already at 70%.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm not even talking about that situation. I'm just talking about situations in general. I think for the most part, HP, because I'm going back to Zuna's point, which is that, like, if you're down to 20%, you literally just can't leave base or you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Like, the only way you can win in those situations, like, where you're down to 20%, is that you try to bait them into your base, making it look like you're going to go do something, and then you go back and wipe them, but good luck trying to wipe them before 20% of your core goes away.
Yeah.
I think it does need regen. I think that's the only thing that needs to come back. But past that, I don't really think there's a big issue on it.
Jared, what kind of a health buff are you suggesting? What
Well,
percent?
actually, Zuna's got to go, so let's let him go
Okay.
ahead and do some shoutouts real quick, and then we can re-dive back onto that. So, Zuna, I mean, we really appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, definitely,
It
man.
was great
Thank
to
you.
learn more about Cloud9, but go ahead and do your shoutouts and stuff so you can get on out of here.
I don't know 100% my sponsors, but I know HyperX, Logitech, Kingston, and if I forgot any, I'm sorry. But
You do better
all
than those
Cloud9
folks.
sponsors.
It's pretty good.
Cloud9 sponsors.
Yeah, and thanks for inviting me to come to the show and give some insight on the team.
You got a Twitter and Twitch we can follow you on?
Yeah, let me type it down one sec.
I know his Twitter is Zuna_Chris because I've been linking it like for all the Town Hall Hero
Yeah.
Twitter posts and whatnot. And if you
I know
guys
you've been streaming Heroes a bit, so.
Yeah, let me write it down.
Well, while you write that down, I mean, it's a pleasure having you on. We all look forward to seeing you not only play, but we hope to meet you in person at BlizzCon just next week, really.
I'm not gonna meet you in person. I'm gonna do the whole thing teleconference. I'm gonna have like it's gonna be a really weird like little robot guy, and he's gonna have my face on there.
That'd be awesome.
I'm a little too busy to do this kind of thing. So I won't meet you in person, but you can shake my robot's hand. I'll give you that permission.
Alright. Are you really doing that though?
How awesome would that be? I would totally do
Yeah,
that.
if you're doing it, I would shake his hand 100%. I even get a picture really quick with that.
I am Kevin.
Oh yeah, for the sponsors too, I got updated Homejoy, Alienware, and Mobifire with the other ones I said.
Oh,
There we go.
Mobile
Shout out to them.
Cool. All right, awesome.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having
So
me.
I
guys.
guess let's throw it to a quick commercial break. When we come back, guys, we're going to be talking about a couple more things, and stay tuned.
Commercial, sudden commercial. We never do commercials. All right, I like it.
Do a commercial.
All right, guys, we'll be right back. Guys, welcome back here to Town Hall, episode number 37. Our guest Zuna has ripperonied out for the evening. Just once again, thank you to him and Sham too. That's very interesting. It's a very interesting look you got going there. Well, we already did our interview with Zuna. We did our esports recap.
Just to clarify, he told us before he had to leave early. He didn't just
Yeah, no, we knew. We knew he was dipping. Lightning breath. We talked about that. We talked about the core HP. You know what we haven't done though? We haven't done Cooby's quest.
But we never did the esports recap.
We started to. We kind of did.
Yeah, but there are a lot of games this weekend.
Let's talk more about it.
Okay. Cooby's questions can wait.
Yeah, hold on. Before we even do that, I still wanted to follow up on what I was talking to Jared about, and I wanted to know I wanted to know the number, like percent health increase for the core that you would suggest.
I mean, like, okay, if you reference the video where it was me and a few other people, we took the core in 3 minutes 57 seconds. Like, I don't think that should be possible. Even when doing a cheesy push strat where you just go down one lane, like the HP late game shouldn't be super high, but I don't think it should be as low as it is early game. Like, and not much higher, but I don't know. It's just so easy to end at times where, I mean, obviously late game, if you do a complete wipe, you should be able to end if you have the map opportunities. Like, that doesn't salt, like everything SMG's done, it doesn't make me salty, but there's just some games, like, we won a game in 3 minutes 57 seconds because literally the core has no health early game. And, you know, in that situation, you know, they were just able to push across the map. Where also Death Hunters do come in time with place with that, but I don't know, it just, to be able to have to push down a wall, take a keep, and then take the core, all in like the time of death, that just seems like it's too low at times. Just like maybe not late game health buff, but you know, like throughout the early and mid game, you know, it starts at a higher base or something.
All right, throw me a number. I want to hear a number.
I don't know numbers, dude.
Oh my god!
I can't do that.
10.
10%.
No, just 10. Just 10.
10 more HP.
10 HP. Okay.
10 more HP.
10 more shields.
This is presiding to my calculations.
Okay.
That'll fix it. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. I don't know how they should fix it. Maybe even increasing the health wouldn't fix it. I don't know. I just, after seeing some of the games we've recently watched, like, you know, let's reference the Glorious one, where Glorious wiped at 2%, and then 2-arc went across the map and into the game. That is a completely fine situation because it was hyper late game, and that was like an actual, like, Glorious through. That situation I am super fine with, you know, that's just the state of the game. That's how it's been for a while. But looking at that Snowflake-specific game, that was just crazy. Like, I'll make you watch the VOD, so I'm going to... Are those already uploaded, Jake? Okay, they should be on Nexus Champ, right?
Then I just checked. They're not there.
Okay, 8 bagels linked it in chat, apparently.
Oh, I thought I didn't see them there. Anyways.
I think that's what he's linking to. But...
Oh, maybe it's a Twitch rebroadcast that he's linking to.
It has nothing to do with math, guys. I'm not a game designer.
Yeah, he linked the Twitch rebroadcast. They're not on YouTube yet. Okay. I mean, obviously we used to have health regen on the core, but that wouldn't solve this problem.
Wouldn't fix
no.
So you guys think it needs to be a % increase?
Or something. I mean, make it, like Zuna said, make it harder to take the core that quickly.
I mean, I agree. They want the game lanes to be short, but we're already getting 10-minute games. Teams are figuring out how to end games in 10-15 minutes.
And that's fine. It's just that specific scenario that I have a problem with. Where
so you want a base HP buff and lower gain
or just make it harder to take the core in that kind of situation. Like more obstacles in the way or buff, like, I don't know. It's just that they only had a fort down, and then they just ran across the map and took the core. Like, it shouldn't be that easy in that kind of a scenario.
Yeah.
So a higher base health plus like less per level,
or something like that. You know, maybe that
it wouldn't make it so that it was super high late game. It would be about.
But even then, I mean, like that's you guys are basing, or at least Zoya, you're basing so much off of just one game. I understand it's a drastic and extreme game.
Yeah.
But you can't just base it off one. If it becomes a problem, I can see it. But other than that, I think it's just a major upset. I mean, if you're getting wiped in that situation,
okay, then let's refer to the games.
There's already a mid lane fort going down. I can see that happening, especially. I mean, it's just, but
I mean,
let's refer to the game I referred to just a second ago then, where we won in 3 minutes and 57 seconds because the core
that's
at that health
so
has
you.
like 200 HP.
I mean,
who were you playing against?
Another 5-stack, because that's all that happens. It wasn't like a legit team, but we weren't a legit team either. We were 5 people, queued against 5 people. I'm pretty sure it wasn't all complete randoms. I'd have to rewatch the game, but...
Right, but that's never going to happen in a competitive match. I mean,
It's
I
still
agree.
a
The
problem for the
core
game.
is squishy. The core is squishy. I'm not disagreeing, but
I'm not saying it like it's something that needs to be like highly overtuned, but I don't think that situation should occur. Where obviously late game you should be able to take the core after wipe, but
yeah,
it shouldn't be that squishy at times. It's not something that's so pressing that it's ruining the game. But like Jake, how many times this weekend did we cast games where it ended with a wipe and then an end before level 20? Like
every single one of them, though, the team overcommitted and threw the game. Every single time, the team thought they could end, got the core incredibly close to ending, and ended up throwing the game away. They got greedy. They said, we can do this, and they didn't follow up. They just didn't get it done. By 1 or 2% of the core. But that's actually a counter argument. They went for that dive. They tried to end the core health, and then it lived. So, and they lost for it.
Pre-20 minutes, Like when games are ending at the 13, 14
But that's
minutes.
okay, though.
I think that's okay. That's okay in my book. A MOBA that has games that end in 15 minutes, like on somewhat
It's
the regular,
literally
that's
designed
fine.
to be.
Yeah,
to end
it really
in
is.
15 minutes.
I don't want every game to go over 20 minutes.
Well, obviously not. But when you take a keep and then can take the core that quickly, just like suddenly the game shifts just after one mistake. Like
But I mean,
Snowflake
like-
was playing perfectly that game. They made one mistake at the core, and then
But it's
game's
a
over.
huge one.
I mean,
such a
that's
huge-
Yeah.
It's a
But I
huge
mean,
one
like-
because the core can be taken that early.
No,
Yeah,
it's
but-
just, that's a huge mistake.
So it's almost like, okay, I'm winning this game, I'm winning this game, I'm winning this ZVT constantly, and I don't move my army and I get slaughtered by banelings. It's just like,
it's pretty much it.
oops,
Yeah,
you lose
that's
the game.
kind of it.
It's over.
It's-
It sucks. You outplayed them the entire match, but you just lost your whole army to banelings. You can't remax in time. GG. Like,
I would almost argue that if things like that couldn't happen, the game would be much worse from a spectator standpoint. Because then it's just like, well, there's really nothing, there's no huge play that they can make right now to win.
Casting all these games where the core's taken that quickly, like those aren't. I didn't enjoy any of those games this weekend. There were
I
so
thought it
many,
was
like,
exciting. The stream was like, oh my god, like
Yeah,
2% too hard.
Throw, but like the glorious 2% where they just like threw and wiped, and then it's like, I don't enjoy those.
Okay,
type
all
of
right.
games.
It sounds like you're just saying, like, I don't enjoy bad play. That's fine. It's not really the game's fault, the game mechanics' fault, though. It's just like these teams like made large miscalculations and lost the game. Yeah, that might not be that fun to watch, I guess, but it's not the game mechanics' fault.
I mean, that's like it's something like that where you have stuff like XPEKs exist. I mean, where you can just solo the
that's a good
the
point.
Nexus by yourself or something like that. The Nexus wasn't too strong either. I think it's situations like that that allow for these things to happen, because if something is easily to be taken, then you could have like an Illidan show up on the other side of the map and do something like that, and that's exciting. I don't really see it as a big issue, and I don't really think it detracts from the fun in the game. I mean, I've had issues. I had a game was it last week where like we got it down to like 2% and we still lost.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, obviously we expressed our opinions on this topic.
Yeah. I'll watch the match.
We'll see what Blizzard wants to do. Yeah, definitely watch the match. I mean, guys, highly suggest all those games from this weekend from Kings of the Storm and the Heroes Premier League. Definitely check those out. Jared and I were casting, and it was a lot of fun. And on that note, we can actually talk about this weekend in general. Obviously, we had some upsets, and we had some good performances. I'm going to pull up the Kings of the Storm bracket once again, and we can use this.
Let's talk about this real quick, because I didn't see any of the games, and you all are trolling out like, yeah, Promote was coming out this weekend. And I'm like, they must be wrong. They said Promote, and that can't possibly
Kev,
be
because
it.
you've been out of the meta for a couple of weeks. Promote is
That's the same
incredibly popular right now.
Are you kidding?
Promote can
No.
just completely ruin teams.
Well, it's not just the promote. It's
It's
the
Abathur. It's Abathur
It's the Abathur
plus-
buff
right,
that
right.
really did it.
All right, it's
Oh,
Abathur with
that's awesome.
Promote. and it's very strong. So yeah, we can actually Kings of the Storm, guys. We can actually look at this now. Those VODs are the last one should be uploading now, and we can just switch on over to this, and we can see here Dead Gaming. I believe that's Calor's team. They lost it to Implicit round 1. At Victorium, lost to Cal Level Gaming. Cloud9 win over Cosmic Slammo. And that's like the preliminary round, if you will. Then we get into like the actual bracket. And I mean, honestly, round 1, pretty even. But ESP Wildfire going over Snowflake. Note, Snowflake had 2 subs. So it wasn't their full roster. Who else had a sub? SMG had a sub for round 1. SMG had a sub for round 1. Liquid over Cal Level. Team Aludo. Jared, out of all these games, now obviously we only got to cast 1 game per round. Did you catch any of the replays on the other matches?
I mean, I've got the 2 ARC versus Cloud9 one I still need to cast, but no.
Okay.
I mean, like, the teams don't send Matt replays. Like,
Yeah.
he has to, like, fish them for hours just to get, like, certain ones. Like, when I get these replay packs, they're like, then people don't even send the entire best of 3. Like, they'll send, like, 1 game. So, like, even when I get the replay packs, like, what am I supposed to do? Cast 1 game from this 1 best of 3? Like,
We're actually casting the same game as you. 2ARC sent us, or yeah, they sent us their match against Cloud9. Corey and I are casting that. Corey's gotta get his casting practice in.
I do.
We're casting that as well. So there'll be multiple perspectives on that game. That's cool. Glorious obviously going over Blame Game here, and then we saw 2ARC go over Glorious. That was the big upset that we were just talking about.
those are really close games. I wouldn't call them
really?
a big upset.
Well, I mean the 2%,
2%
2ARC. Yeah, that
was a super hardcore throw where Allstad just kind of went full dummy and
Full dumb.
but.
And
did you? Sorry to interrupt real quick. Did you post the replays of as many games as you did on the subreddit or not?
I haven't cast any replays from this weekend yet.
Oh wait, you have VODs. Okay, I'll just watch the VODs. Never mind.
yeah, the VODs are on my YouTube.
I'll trust in VODs.
Yes, and yeah, we can see at the end of the day, SMG over Liquid. Now, just recapping Liquid over the last few weeks, we've seen like a kind of ridiculous amount of growth out of them. Like they looked really good against SMG in most of the games. I think Game 3 was not so close, if I'm not mistaken.
They were keeping pace until like level 16, 17, and then SMG did SMG things. But for Game 1 and 2 was relatively close most of the game, and then Game 3 was, stomp.
That just seems to be like how it goes with SMG. A lot of teams go toe-to-toe with them in the early game, but late game, SMG just seems to like make a decision to end the game.
SMG was doing crazy stuff, like they like baited Team Liquid into a Tyrande pick. Like
that's
knowing
true.
That
we talked about that. Yeah, that's true.
SMG got in Liquid's head for Game 3 for sure. But, I mean, yeah, it's SMG still showing their dominance. They're dropping games here and there, but they're still the best. And Liquid is definitely arguably number 2 right now. They just keep consistently putting up the numbers. We can't look at Snowflake's games from this because they did play without Idra and Chiltec. Chiltec being their primary shot caller. I'm pretty sure Idra's their main drafter.
Yep.
But,
that sounds right to me.
They did have 2 subs to that. Like we said, the Glorious 2ARC game. So I mean, all the top teams are still looking really strong right now, and we're seeing that gap start to close between SMG and the other teams, but it's still not there yet. Like after talking to them about their drafting and stuff, they just seem to be like they're so impressive with like they're like actually incorporating mind games now into their drafting, which before it was just like, well, let's just get the better comp.
And their draft is so quick. Like they don't have to sit there and think about it. They're just like, boom, we know what we want. They're just like so decisive. It's scary at how good their draft is. But I think other games will catch up, and even SMG. I don't remember who said it exactly. I think it was Dreadnought. He said there's going to be a big shift in everything after BlizzCon. He thinks everything's going to be completely shooken up.
That was what he was kind of alluding to in a couple of tweets, and I'm really interested. I haven't actually had a time to sit down and talk to him, but I'd really like to hear what his thoughts really behind that were. He kind of just, it was really just ominous. Just there's a storm coming. It's like one of those like movie trailers for like everything you thought you knew is wrong. I don't know, it was just really.
But it's cool, and that's exciting to see. And I agree. I wonder what he's alluding to there because.
Do you agree 100%?
I don't know. I don't know. People were saying that's what my other sub icon should be. Like,
100%
agree 100%.
I like it. Should be.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going on, with BlizzCon and everything. Hopefully we'll see a lot new stuff coming out from the Heroes team, and hopefully I don't just like pick up the mic. It's like, welcome to, but we'll see. We'll see.
We can hope you do that. You'll go down in history for sure. BlizzCon history made.
Right? If I'm not going to get famous, I'm going to go for infamy. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen, and that's, oh my god, guys. Oh my god. That's like a week away.
Yeah, I hope you're ready. I hope you have a nice suit picked out. Gotta look pretty, man.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, out of this weekend, I don't think there was anything else that really stood out to me. Obviously, we were seeing the promote change with Abathur, where basically it's something. Abathur becomes a really strong pick on maps like Cursed Howler and Garden of Terror, because since the map's so large, if the team's not in the top lane, you just see the Abathur go. He spawns his Locust Nest. He gives it promote, and before you know it, that keep is gone. Like, if you don't have a Falstad to fly to that top lane, or you don't have someone to go to that top lane and just clear it, it doesn't work. So it's almost at the point where a Falstad becomes this counter to Abathur, because if you get Seasoned Marksman, and then he's getting all that farm out of killing that wave, so there's a big wave for him to clean up. It's like, it helps balance it out. But we've seen a lot of teams using it. I mean, Dunk has been playing Abathur for Liquid. Is it Pickles or Mr. J Pickles?
Mr. J
Pickles that's playing him. I will always get them confused. One of them should really change their name for my convenience.
Just for your convenience.
Just for my convenience. So that's one of the things. Obviously, Lightning Breath, I wouldn't say that's like a big change in the esports scene. It's just something we saw happening. We saw like just the triple tank with Ancestral Healing, and we actually saw SMG respond by banning out Rhaegar, saying, look, we're just going to take Ancestral away with it. And it worked out pretty well. But actually, Dreadnought himself said to me, with all the healers getting nerfed, tanks are going to get more popular. Things with second health bars are going to become more popular. So that's why Tychus is so huge right now. Obviously, Archon gets the shielding. Even Chen. Chen has become probably the second or third most picked tank. It probably goes, well, I mean, between Stitches, Anub, Chen, and Arthas. They're all very well represented right now. Which is really
I would
cool.
say Chen's number 2 right now. He's almost in every single game we see where, sometimes the noob or Tyrael and stuff won't even be in it.
You have to consider the bans, because Stitches is still...
Well, yeah, but...
I mean, Stitches is...
we didn't see too many Stitches bans this weekend.
I guess it was just Snowflake banning him out a lot.
Yeah, that's just a comfort, we hate Stitches banned, but I don't think we saw Stitches banned once outside of Snowflake games, and we only saw him picked once or twice the entire weekend, from our games at least. Stitches is, he's still very good, but... I think Chen's definitely moved up to number 2 or 3 at least right now.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, based off bans, but we see Chen a lot now, even for comps that aren't running like the hyper multi-health comps. Like Chen's just a solid pick.
Chen first pick, like that just blows my mind. Like Chen first pick in a lot of these drafts. Like what on earth has changed in this game?
He seems like he feels like more of like a counter pick. That's like where his spot is.
I think I only saw him first pick once.
I think,
and that was like to shut down Glaurung, because he was doing crazy shit with him.
Maybe you might be right, but still, we saw him pick.
What?
Yeah, I got it. I'm on that.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
I didn't even make a face. I was like, whoa.
No, I'm there.
Chen is pretty cool. I'm really excited to see him.
Chen free week.
I'm still skeptical on him. You have to be level 15 to get that Chen, though. I'm still skeptical on him, though. I don't know. I don't really like him. I don't like his playstyle so much. I like an Uberak way more.
Or you're skeptical on whether you like him, or you're skeptical on whether he's good?
I'm skeptical on whether he's good, still.
Well, you're...
But everybody still disagrees with me and my...
Well,
you're... I already paid $1 to the skin jar. But I still how much did we see in Uberak this week?
Fair.
A decent amount.
A lot. Certain teams.
We're seeing him more than Tyrael.
Yeah, but certain teams really lean. I don't know if we'd say we'd seeing him more than Tyrael, because Tyrael is still so strong when you pair him with Falstad. You see a Vala or a Nova or anything like that they just want to pick off, and you have Falstad Tyrael, you just remove them from the game between Judgment and Shock and Awe. So we're still seeing a lot of Tyrael, but yeah, Anub it's cool. We have a diverse hero pool. It's in a good spot in terms of the hero pool for them. Assassins, also Vala kind of like Reign of Vengeance becoming more popular because people like the stun. Obviously, we're still seeing a lot of strafe. We saw Arthlon's Vala build, that multi-shot build with strafe, which is really cool. And
yeah, he was wrecking. He topped damage in all those games.
Yeah, he
by
was.
far.
His positioning and just the amount of damage he was putting out was disgusting. Obviously, Nova, Kev, I don't know if you've seen Nova, and I know you've been super busy. And Corey
no, I can't see Nova. She's cloaked.
That's one of the first things Corey said when we were playing when he got back from Japan. Since he was just like, he's like, is Nova free this week, or is she actually that popular? Because out of like 3 games, there were Novas on both teams. Out of like 3 games in solo queue, because he was just like, what has changed? Because
the point in time when I left, it was mostly like Steve was like, of course, Steve loves Nova, so he's like, as soon as the changes went through, he picked her and was just kind of messing around with her, and we're like, oh, this hotshot thing is really good. I was messing around with it, and he was just wrecking kids. And then I was like, I left for Japan, come back, everyone's playing Nova and destroying people with Nova, and I was like, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Nova's getting figured out, though. Nova's getting figured
people
out.
are,
she definitely has some solid counters for sure.
But that's good. She still has her place in the meta now. Before, she really was almost never seen, and she'll always have a place at this point. But beyond that, I mean, heals, supports are pretty much the same. Supports we haven't changed. And specialists, I mean, we've seen some ridiculous play out of Zagara. Just, again, Arthlon's Maws were like just 1 fights.
Zagara's in the same place as she was though before, though. She's a situational pick, and
yeah, but she has her role. She has her position in the competitive meta. So, I think the meta's in a really good spot, but it's all gonna get flipped on its head next week. So
yes,
it's all gonna get flipped on its head. We don't. I mean, as far as we all assume, new heroes, new maps.
Well, it
whatever.
depends on how long the BlizzCon build takes to come out. Whatever secret stuff they're launching or showing us at BlizzCon. We don't know how long they'll go to live.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
Hopefully right away. Like, I want to come home from BlizzCon after playing the new build and then,
hop in.
go ham.
Yeah.
Whatever stuff they're showing us, new heroes or whatever.
So, question for everyone here. We're all going to be at BlizzCon. How much time are you going to invest waiting in line to play the new build?
Multiple hours. Because, like, I have no interest in StarCraft at all. The Diablo shit, I'm not... The Diablo things I'm not gonna really bother with. Like, I can watch that when I get home on like YouTube or something. Like, not even the WoW stuff. And like, I'm gonna watch the Hearthstone, like maybe top 4, and then the hero stuff. And the thing is, like, the Hearthstone finals goes on the same time as the Heroes finals,
which is booty.
That stinks. So I want to be able to watch that. But I guarantee you, whatever the big hall they have that's completely empty that they haven't announced yet, I'm thinking that at this point it might just be Warcraft movie stuff. But I'll probably be spending a lot of time there and a lot of time playing Heroes.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we can just hope that they do have a new build and new heroes, because, man,
I'm calling it.
I'm anxious.
Calling it, guys.
You're calling it?
I'm calling it.
It'd be so weird if they
I don't have any inside information, but it's going to be Deckard Cain, and he's going to be coming out Macho Man Randy Savage style. Roger, brother.
It would just be absurd if they didn't have something new.
I would love for like that actually to be the thing, and like Blizzard walks over is like, so we're not sure how you got that information, who leaked it to you, but you know,
for Deckard
that was
Cain?
supposed to be confidential.
Dude, we can hope, because you've been saying that forever.
You're gonna come with us.
There will probably be a lot of Legacy of the Void stuff there, so I will be messing with that as well. I forgot about the StarCraft.
Confirmed yet?
So okay, let's just
maybe
talk.
not then. I don't know.
Well,
that game.
Okay, so the floor plan last year didn't have StarCraft 2 playable on it at all. This year, StarCraft 2 is playable on the floor. If it's not Legacy of the Void, I'd be really shocked. Again, Hero's still a new game, so they have a massive section on the floor, but still, it's their big event. They don't just want to hype up new people; they want to hype up the people already in there. We're gonna see new stuff. Like, we're going to see new stuff. My prediction is we're actually gonna see 20 heroes, like models that aren't even in the game yet. I think they'll like show off like 20 heroes that are in the works, around that many. So, yeah, fingers crossed, man. Because
here's Sylvanas again.
Oh, just give me Sylvanas at BlizzCon. That's all I want.
Oh, shit, we already showed you that one.
So, you know what? Actually, if you guys have a virtual ticket or if you guys are attending BlizzCon, there's a special BlizzCon store. If you go to gear.blizzard.com, there's a BlizzCon section, and there's actually a Sylvanas keychain. So I saw that, and I was like, give heroes, please? Please?
Yeah, but she's pretty hype in Hearthstone, too, so, you know,
she is
it
pretty
could
hype
just
in
be for
Hearthstone.
that.
It could be. Could be. All right, guys. Cooby.
Mm.
It is now. It is time. Jared?
Oh my god, I forgot we.
I have roommates sleeping, so I can't do it. Kev, you gotta do it.
No.
It's time.
I'll do the dance.
Question.
Cooby's questions! I need to find the graphic.
Yeah, I don't do this without the graphics. So.
Boo.
Sorry, just standard stuff.
This is the worst. This is the worst.
I do have places to be. That's a lie. Just want to play Heroes.
So remember that time?
Are we ready?
Ready?
Are we ready?
Y'all ready
Okay.
for this?
Okay, first one is a cop-out question. Oh my god, that's huge. I'm seeing it on the delay. Alright, first one's a cop-out question. And actually, Kevin, I will excuse you from this cop-out question because you're in a similar situation to me. What do you guys feel is the single biggest change to the meta over the past 2 weeks?
Avatar.
Good answer. Can you elaborate, sir?
Like, 50% of the games have Avatar.
Wow.
I did see that he was picked quite a bit. Do I have that?
Maybe 50% is a bit much, but yeah, with the new Avatar buff, and then with, like, you know, just being, I guess, with the skill increase of Avatar players as well, being able to soak multiple lanes while promoting, while pushing, while helping team fight, and then with the addition of a few new heroes, like Avatar wasn't played super much with Jake.
It's so distracting.
But with you know, like Rhaegar, and then like the whole Rhaegar Tychus thing, where you can have double Odin that can get ancestral and stuff. You know, there's just so many things that attributed to the Abathars being played more, and I think that's the biggest thing we've seen right now is just lots and lots of Avatar play.
Okay, I like it.
I'd
Jake?
say at least a third of games have an Avatar.
Yeah, that is quite surprising to hear. To be honest, he was good in the right hands before, but now it sounds like that push is so good. Jake, what is your answer?
The biggest change in the meta?
Yeah,
Avatar is a really good answer, but you know, we used to see a lot more work getting done out of healers, and teams are all leaning towards very livable compositions. I guess I should do this to myself if I'm doing this. Teams are, you know, people were constant. I mean, not that Odin and Archon and Panda Pals are a new thing, but everybody's going for, like, a lot of the top teams are going for just these hyper sustained stay alive builds. I mean, there was a point in time where in the meta we were getting triple assassin, and that's not a common thing at all anymore. It's about outliving and outlasting and fighting for those tributes. So I guess with the nerf to heals and all that stuff is just making everything more. I don't like reading
so
the chat, getting distracted.
Like in that stuff, doing the things. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, just you know, the nerf to healers across the board. I mean, rewind off Uther, Brightwing got nerfed, Malfurion got nerfed, Rhaegar got nerfed, his shield got nerfed. Like pretty much every single support got nerfed, and it's all leaning towards like one support and a lot of times just multiple tanky heroes, and a little bit more of a front line now. So in general, it's a lot different.
Yeah, but that's just because of the healing nerf, though.
Well,
What do you think would be a nerf or a buff that we would see more specialists?
I mean, each special is different enough to where, like, I don't see, like, a specific... Because even with, like, a thing that would help specialists would be the ammo change. And even then, I don't think we're seeing... Like, I mean, outside of Abathur, that he got buffed on his own.
Zagar's played a fair amount.
Yeah.
Well, she was also played the same... she was played the exact same amount before as she is now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that
Before
hasn't
the
changed.
patch? Before this patch hit?
Yes, before this patch hit. Zagar's always been viable. Just
She's always been a
don't-
really big ranged hero, ranged damage hero. Like her damage output is actually really
I guess
strong,
it's-
and Maw, of course.
I guess
Law
with-
was starting to get like a lot more steam.
I guess with a lot of people are understanding how like ridiculous Infest is, we might see her a little bit more. But like from what I've been casting the last few weeks, I'm not seeing Zagara any more than we were seeing her before.
Right, she's like you said earlier. She's hyper situational. The Maw is a nice. It's kind of like if you don't have Void Prison. In some regard, it works the same.
Like none of the specialists are like. They're all unique in their own ways. Like you can't like just like what change to the game would help specialists. Well, like each specialist needs its own individual change to see them played more. But that's just because they are specialists.
Like
they're fitting their perfect role. They're situational, making them a specialist,
which is cool.
But you feel like you'd have to have like so many different specialists to make them actually like because I guess my point is that we see. At least in League or Dota, etc., that everybody's got like a role, and you normally see all of those roles in each selection of a team. In Heroes, it's a bit different because we don't really see the necessity at all for some sort of a specialist. I mean, and really, when we do go for those specialists, I think there's only like 2 that ever get chosen.
I think that's the problem with just how a lot of the specials are being designed right now. You know, with the release of Asmo, he's super push heavy, and Zagara is technically push heavy as well as Abathur. But like if you look at Murky, for instance, who's more of a brawl, like Murky's not a backdoor or a pusher anymore. Anyone who thinks that is just crazy.
You're right. He's
once more like there's a potential that Jaina could be a specialist just with how cast heavy she'll be. You know, it just depends on where they go with specialists themselves. You know, right now a lot of them are push focused, which is kind of not flowing with the game, but. Once they, like look at Witchstalker, he's not super push focused. He's got pushing, but he also has great team fight, and that's why we see him.
There are 7 specialists, and only one of them has an escape mechanic in their basic abilities.
Which is Murky.
Yeah. Did you ever think about that?
I have not.
It's interesting. That's a really good point to make. I'm glad.
You mean like some kind of dash? Or...
Yeah, like just any way to get out of it.
Hammer has a knockback and boost.
It doesn't really count as
and boost. But you pair them.
The combination of the 2 is like kind of half.
Kind of.
It's good enough. That's an escape.
But she also has the exact opposite of an escape too, because she's got her siege mode, which literally stuns her, forces her to be immobile, and then stuns her again.
She also has that problem where she's bad.
I don't know. I could kind of like if we had to like choose one of them. I would say Hammer has an escape on.
Yeah, I would too.
It's a unique type of like that. I don't know. It just depends on where Blizzard wants to go with it. I kind of like. I don't know.
Well, the issue with Hammer Z though is that sorry, just to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Just because like everybody's saying it is that it's a boost, but it's also like your only way to get to a place.
Yeah, it's true.
On the map, which is I think why it's kind of like a hindrance. Like, it takes you so long to get anywhere that you have to save your escape just for the factor that somebody might come at you. And even that's not really even that much of an escape. It's just kind of like a speed boost. It's like sprint.
Do you think she needs to have the same kind of thing that Falstad has, where you move at mount speed when you're out of combat?
I think so. I honestly do.
No, absolutely not. Her push is way too strong for that. Like she'd be able to like push something and then get out so fast. No way, man. That would be
with a couple of nerfs.
OP.
I don't know. There's just it's.
I don't think that's the place
right now.
That's not the place to buffer. There are other ways that wouldn't be so like infuriating to the other players.
We actually saw Hammer play this weekend. We actually saw Hammer win a game.
Did we?
Yeah.
100% win rate.
Oh yeah, that was Wildfire, huh?
Yeah, Wildfire won a game with Hammer.
Yeah, but. Okay, I almost just did shots fired, but no. Versus Vexed Gaming, But,
hey.
Was the Hammer in the same game the Diablo was? I can't remember.
No.
Those games are just a blur.
No, they were not. Lightning Breath plus Hammer, you flip the player into the Hammer, it'd be perfect. It makes perfect sense. No, they were not in the same game.
Actually, no, I did see somebody...
Oh, gosh. Okay.
I saw that suggestion. It was like Stitch's Hammer, and I was like...
Why?
I saw that too, Kev. I saw it on Reddit, right?
Yeah, that was on the duo queue thing, and I was like, okay.
Oh. Maybe a new Barak Hammer.
No, that wouldn't work either.
It's gotta be Diablo with Lightning Breath. Like,
here's who you match Hammer with.
Work.
Here's who you match Hammer with.
No one.
No one. Or you match it with Murky and just lose the game.
Coobies, continue with the questions.
Okay. You guys spent a good chunk of time on that one. I'll ask one more. I've got a giant list here, of course. Next one is, of course, yes, standard. How do you guys feel about the Now in the competitive play, obviously map selection is something that we're dealing with now. How has that shifted things in your opinion? What heroes do you feel are now suddenly more viable because you know what map you're going to be playing on? And what do you guys feel are good examples of heroes that are specifically good on those maps?
Well, again, Abathur became a lot, obviously he's gotten the buffs on his own, but there are certain maps like, I think Abathur is a solid choice on any map, but there are situations where it's like, okay, we definitely can make Abathur work with this comp here. He's the first one that jumps out to me. Zagara on maps like Cursed Hollow and the plant map. Just because of how narrow some of those pathways can be, you can land some sick mobs, which we saw a lot from Arthlon this weekend, as well as Zeratul on Cursed Hollow. We are seeing the sickest Void Prisms, just no matter what, because when you're engaging near those,
they're guarantees.
They're so narrow.
So
if you force someone through a choke, you're going to hit at least 4 people with a Void Prism. I wouldn't say there's any specific hero that just immediately, it's not specific heroes that you can play now more. It's that you don't have to worry about hitting that 1 out of 4 maps where this hero isn't good.
I remember some people were arguing about the viability of Hammer because she was just so abysmal on some maps, but that was probably before when she had Graduating and Hover.
Well, in maps like Blackhearts, you want to avoid people who have low mobility.
Yes, that's true.
Falstad is really good on that map. Anybody can just kind of get across. Brightwing is another really strong one, depending on your team composition. You just want a whole bunch of people who can just get from A to B really quickly. But also likewise, Falstad's always a really good pick, but on maps like Cursed Hollow, or anywhere where you have long corridors where you're fighting a lot, Falstad's just so great. Shock and awe down an entire
everything about Falstad's so. Fly back to your Knight's Bribe if you have Bribe. There's so many things that make Falstad amazing.
I think Diablo Apocalypse builds on Cursed Hollow are going to be strong really soon, because of just how game-changing those Apocalypse can be in those areas where but you have to be careful on things like Dragonshire because they're just wide open maps. You can't really go for that.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I think he'd be a really good map-dependent pick.
Yeah, I don't think any certain hero benefited most from this, but certain compositions as well got help. This helps them a lot. But one specific hero, I don't think of any. It's just more it was an inconvenience thing. Oh, we got them on this map, and now it's a bit of a struggle. But even then, I'm not thinking. I guess you could pick Witch Doctor on Plant Terror map a little bit more now, just because there's so many safe angles you can heroic from. But even then, it was he wasn't. It's not that big of an increase in his play. Everything's just. Okay. Boom. Abathur extremely good on mines from Arthlon the Great. Boom.
Arthlon the Great. Because you could just AFK push a lane while everybody's in mines.
So you get so much experience while everyone's in mines.
It's ridiculous how good he is.
It's insane.
Jake?
But yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that wasn't said. Honestly, I really can't.
We can do one more cooby question, man. Don't bail out on us early.
All right. If you guys want another one,
we got 15 minutes.
Let's see here.
Do a shorter one so we can do viewer questions from the rest.
Kev, sir, you got questions?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I have asked this question in the past, but I wasn't exactly satisfied with the answer, so I'm going to revisit it.
Is it going to be like that choose your own adventure one again? Because
that one was great. You guys, that was on you guys. You messed that one up. All right. This one is actually about Blackheart's Bay, and I was talking with someone about this yesterday. How do you guys feel the map should be played from a strategy? What... Maybe in terms of also in terms of heroes picked, because it sort of feeds in from the last question, but how do you guys feel from a fundamental, this is how we approach the map? How should the map be played? Should it just be focused on laning, all coins? How do you hold your coins? When do you turn in? I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on how the map should be played.
Okay. Laning it normally tends to end 4 to 5, but it just depends on a comp. The thing I really like about the strategy on Haunted Mines is there's a lot of small things that not a lot of newer players.
Did I say Haunted Mines?
You said Blackhearts.
Or I said Blackhearts. Sorry, I was thinking Blackhearts, and I said.
All right.
There's a lot of small things on Blackhearts that can give you an advantage team. If you before the first turn in, if you can just take one tower down below a quarter HP, maybe as high as a third HP, just one tower.
Yeah.
Then the first turn in, with no Tassadar shields or no mule, will kill the fort. Just doing one tower of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think obviously you want to just team fight, and like roam and get coins and stuff, and you do want to soak experience, but it all just depends on comp, really. But I the thing I like about Blackhearts the most right now is there's just so many small things that can give you an advantage. Like, you know, having a mule on Blackhearts to consume extra pirate ships. Like, you'll see someone who's turned in like 2 more pirate ships completely, and like they'll be even on map control due to like doing things like having a Tassadar shield or having a mule. Like, things like that are really cool on the map to me. But as far as like just a generic strategy, it mainly comes on the comp, in my opinion. But for the most part, it comes down to like soaking experience. Like if you have a Zagara or an Abathur, you know, you have someone always soaking bot and top, but you know, it gets roaming really quick.
Jake?
Go, Kev, you can go.
Okay. Yep. I was going to say, I find Blackhearts Bay to be an incredibly interesting map because the strategy is always just keeping up. With most other maps, like jungle-wise, you run into like a couple of situations where it's just like, well, we have no idea where they are because there's nothing that they could really be grabbing, and there's nothing we could really be grabbing. So we just kind of have to sit around and wait for them to show up in a lane or something like that. In Blackhearts Bay, though, the jungles are always popping up. You always know where their next objective is going to be. And for a lot of ways, it actually drives a lot of team fighting in that way. Strategy-wise, I find it's always good just to be grabbing the jungles all the time because they also merit you the ability to get the objective in the middle of the map. Well, not the objective. You know, the objective in the middle of the map as well. But it also becomes really easy and apparent to tell when they're going to be going for the objective too, because you know they have a certain amount of coins to turn in. And then it's just deciding whether or not they're going for that objective or they're going for one of their jungle camps that are probably up at the time. So I think strategy-wise, it's just try and be ahead of your opponent, or at least know where your opponent's next move is going to be, which is really generic and broad. But if you look at the priority of jungle camps, like, you know, if you see siege giants are up, they're probably going to go for those because they're a little bit more defensive. You know, you can get them easily without having to be too forward. But that also sets up a really good time for you to like hide in those shrouds and then like get a really good engagement there.
That's actually that's a good point. I like that because from like a viewing perspective, that sort of gives if the other team is behind, they can sort of make a prediction on, like you were saying, and that gives them a lot of opportunities to get back into the game through solid good play and like out metaing the opponent.
And with the rise of Resurgence as a talent, that makes that map even more fun to watch because you can use that talent. Like where you see Resurgence a lot, or not Resurgence, Clairvoyance a lot now, and we're seeing that utilized to, you know, help find that way to get ahead. You know, find where they're going next.
And we're seeing Rhaegar's opt for Farsight on that map. The whole deal, like it's the same thing as Clairvoyance, but yeah, exactly like you said. Yeah, just my 2 cents is like, I love Blackhearts Bay as a spectator because, like we already said, the map objective is omnipresent. It's from merc camps, it's from the chests, and it's from the pirates. And it's a non-stop action map where you never have to commit on their base, and I think that's fine. I think that's fine because if you're controlling the whole map and you're winning those team fights and you're able to turn in and win that way, it's still exciting. It's not like it's boring. There's something always happening, and you can like again, you touched on this. You can say, all right, well, those coins are up. That's what they're going to be going for. Let's go for it, you know? It really opens up the doors for a lot of interesting heroes. You could have, like, a roaming stealth squad that if anybody's trying to... you can just try to play a hyper-punish game where you, like, really just go deep into the jungle and just try to get those ganks, and you try to play hard that way. And there's a lot of, like, really just unique things, and, like, you know, like we touched in the beginning, having the mobility on the map is also huge. Falsight being able to fly from lane to lane, Abathur being able to be anywhere at any time is huge. So
it's a good newbie map too. Like it's a very clear objective.
Yes, it's
like,
very
you know,
easy to
coins drop from mercs. You know they drop from chests, and you know you want to take coins from the enemy team as well. Like it's a great entry level map. You know, because sometimes the curse can be a little bit confusing because it's random and you know it's so devastating. And you know Dragonshire. You know, yeah, that's kind of you know an easy to understand, but it's not you know an entire thing that encompasses the game. Like the coins are constantly a presence on the map, whether it's from camps or from chests or from the enemy players, and I don't know. And it's a great map.
And from a spectator perspective, if somebody drops 8 coins, that's like, oh my god, like that's huge. That's massive. So. In terms of competition,
just to continue the circle that's going on here, I also love Blackhearts because it's the only objective that gets harder the more ahead you are.
Yes, that's a really good point.
It gets more difficult And a lot of people are like, well, Black Hearts is so snowbally. I say, actually, it's quite anti-snowball.
I mean,
if you're ahead, like really far ahead in Black Hearts, you probably have to turn in 18, 20 some coins, whereas the enemy just has to get like 10 to 12 to start getting that lead back. And especially because of how the underdog stuff works, I think it's actually pretty easy.
I think,
especially because there are so many different. Sorry, just to interrupt once more. Just because there's so many different objectives too. When people start getting ahead, they get a little bit too headstrong, and they start to split up to go get as many objectives as possible, and makes it really easy for getting pickings if you get your lower team up into a group of 5.
It's snowbally if you don't manage to steal coins, and then I think teams need to try to make that like a goal. Like, we just need to find that person out of position, hunt for them, and snipe them off. And but it's tough. It's hard. But I mean,
it's just great for learning the game because of team fights as well.
Yeah.
Just because, like,
it's so aggressive.
You're like team fighting almost from the get-go.
Yeah.
And like you're not stuck in lanes the entire time. So it just, it's a fun map and it's great for learning the game. Just as either a team fighting perspective or, just mechanic and objective-based game.
All right.
Imagine if there was a safe on that map where you could put coins in.
Oh,
Like
don't make suggestions like that.
But if you had more than a certain amount of coins on you, then like the other team could see where you are at all times.
You have the option to have a safe on that map. And it's a mobile safe. You'll have the coins above your head, and it's called riding a money pig.
Oh my goodness!
Ooh, I see what you did there.
On that note,
hey, Jared, I'm working hard for that.
Dude, I peer pressured Jake into buying it on stream.
I'm working on about like 50K right now.
I have to watch that VOD to see what my face looks like after I spent my 20.
So salty. Yeah. That was the funniest form of peer pressure I've ever seen. Kevin, do we have any Reddit questions?
No, but I do want to give a couple of shout-outs because people did ask questions about specialists, and that's kind of why I started asking questions about specialists a lot. So I want to give shout-outs to Elflub as well as ZK the Man. They were asking questions in the Reddit thread about specialists and whatnot. So I did, some of my points before were kind of targeted towards them.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good way to do it. And I'm glad you gave them the shout-out. All right, we actually have to wrap up here, guys. So let's start with Zoya.
So yeah, the King of the Nexus this Thursday. We'll be on this channel casting it with Mr. ZP himself. Don't worry, guys, I didn't fire Kevin or anything like that. He's just been super busy, and with BlizzCon coming up, there's no way we're going to get it in with him before that. And I want these games cast before BlizzCon, because who knows how... who knows if there's going to be a big patch after BlizzCon or something like that where these games are completely irrelevant or we can't load the replays anymore. So ZP and I will be casting it this Thursday. Check out my Twitch at this channel here. Go ahead and give it a follow. You can follow me at IVD Zoya as well. Check out the team, IVD Gaming. A lot of IVD Gaming is going to be at BlizzCon because a lot of them are SoCal related, and I'll be there as well. I'm getting my own IVD jersey, and those things are sexy, so you'll see me in it over the weekend. And if you're at BlizzCon, are we doing, I don't know if we're doing another show, but if you're at BlizzCon, come say hi.
We might do something. Well, it's all in the air. It's somewhere in there.
Well, if you're at BlizzCon, come say hi to me, and I think...
What is that? What is...
Yeah, that was weird.
I know.
I think he was trying to suck in the air of where all our plans are.
Oh yeah, a big shout out to Kevin. He's been working hard in esports for like 4 years as a broadcaster. And
esports,
he landed
yes.
He landed a gig at BlizzCon, which is something like BlizzCon's like the pinnacle of success as a Blizzard shoutcaster, which is what both Kevin and I have been doing. So good job, man.
It's the dream. It is the dream. Well, Kev, on that note,
yeah.
I just have to shout out to everybody right now, especially Town Hall. I mean, you guys, we've all been doing this for so long. And I've been working with a lot of people over my 5 years now, I think, of casting. And I never gave up the dream, even though it got really hard at different points. Things like UBS or when I was working at my old job and everything, just 80-hour weeks and whatnot. And I was just like, I need to go home because I need to go cast with Zoya, and he's just gonna do nothing but troll me the entire time that I'm casting StarCraft 2.
Monday night play him.
Yeah, it was rough to go home from a really rough job to just hear Zoya just troll you the entire cast, but. It's been great. So shout out to Blizzard, of course, for giving me this opportunity, but we'll see, how everything ends up because, who knows, maybe I'm just gonna, as I said, just throw up immediately as I pick up the mic. I highly doubt
You're gonna kill it, man. You're gonna kill it.
Yeah, you will. You will.
Yeah, but it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited. Shout outs, of course, to all the people who kept me alive this past week. Shout outs to McDonald's and their McDonald's, because that was what I ate every morning. And shout out to Monster, because without Monster Energy, I'd be dead. Yeah, I mean, shout outs to everybody. I'm so elated to be given this opportunity, and I'm gonna do you guys right. I gotta prepare. I'm preparing.
You better look pretty.
Crazy. Yeah, I already got my haircut. I gotta get a little bit of a tune-up before I go on Monday. But
did you give the Blizzard makeup crew like warning to not have Skeletor-esque makeup?
I told them my brands for
my brand
concealer, for eyeliner. I told them what exact hair gel. No, I didn't.
Oh goodness.
I haven't done anything yet. Oh, Taco Bell. Yeah, I need to shout out Taco Bell.
Yeah,
so, hold on.
Taco Bell has an app now.
Story. I had right after I
Dude,
put out the announcement,
you literally have like 30 seconds.
I know. So I said celebratory Taco Bell. So I walked all the way over to the 51st and 51st and Lexington Avenue Taco Bell. It was gone. It's gone. And I was like, what? And then Taco Bell's Twitter deleted this morning. I was like, did Taco Bell go out of business or something? So I had like a half a heart attack this morning. But I got it for lunch. It was awesome. And that's all I have to say. And that's it. I'm done.
Coops.
Okay, it's good to be back. I was catching up on the episodes of Town Hall, and I was having a good time. I was laughing. I was like, I can't wait to cast with these guys tonight and talk about everything. It was good. I miss you guys. I really do. Good times, though. And I'm excited to hang out with you guys at BlizzCon.
Dude, Jake wouldn't shut up. Oh, God. This house sucks without Cooby. Oh, my God. Where's Cooby?
I know. You need that, like, overarching, like, I'm the father figure here, so it's like, okay, did you guys do the dishes? I didn't tell them a lot of the time to be doing this stuff. So
you kind of look like Rick right now. I'm looking forward to your Rick.
That's great.
Okay.
I love it.
Well, okay. Well, we have a few minutes. Last week we said we were switching to my channel. I actually have the email confirmation in front of me now for that from Twitch. So we are going to be switching over to my channel from this. Cooby's, you can see the Cooby's question emote in there as well. Guys, BlizzCon, we're all going to be there. It's going to be incredible. I mean, yes, Kevin's going to be on stage, but the rest of us will be there. So if you're going to be at BlizzCon, please harass us and say hi. We'd love to meet any and everyone. Next week, we are going to do a mini show. It's going to be very short, as both Jared and Kevin are flying out Wednesday morning. So we're going to do a mini show next week, and that will be. We're going to try to do something at BlizzCon. I really don't know if it's going to happen, especially Kev's probably going to be very busy. There's going to be a lot going on, so I don't know if that's going to happen, so we're not going to make the promise that we get something happening at BlizzCon, but I'm going to be doing a ton of filming, recording, interviewing people in general, so at the very least we'll have content coming out from us, and of course you're going to see Kev on stage. So it's going to be awesome there. We'll definitely be back next week, same time, 9 p.m. Unless you guys want to do it early, we'll figure that and we'll announce that if we want to start it a little bit early. But that does it for episode number 37. Shoutouts to Zuna.
Shout out to Money Pig, because he is the god in the universe of the whole Heroes of the Storm plane.
Is Money Pig the new space
God,
shark?
shoutouts to Jared for forcing me to buy a Money Pig. I had 20,010 gold, and the chat's like, buy the Money Pig on HPL. And Jared just calls me out, and he's like, I will disown you if you don't buy Money Pig right now. And I was just like, why not? Let me do it. Let me do it. So yes, okay. But once again, guys, just thank you for the support. We'll be back next week, and until next time.